Japanese automakers Honda and Nissan have announced plans to join forces, forming the world's third-largest automaker by sales. The two companies signed a memorandum of understanding this morning, with a smaller Nissan Alliance member, Mitsubishi Motors, also agreeing to join the talks. Honda has just shaken the world with a groundbreaking announcement that could change the future of electric vehicles forever. The company's CEO has unveiled a revolutionary all-solid-state battery capable of fully charging in just 10 minutes. The all-solid-state battery, with high energy density and stable characteristics, is expected to be a game-changer that accelerates the adoption of electric vehicles, a feat that seemed impossible until now. Could this be the breakthrough that makes electric cars the undeniable future of transportation? The future of driving might arrive sooner than we ever imagined. Why traditional lithium-ion fell short? Before diving into Honda's new battery breakthrough, it's worth taking a closer look at why lithium-ion technology, once heralded as the gold standard, started feeling outdated for large-scale electric mobility. Lithium-ion cells first caught on in portable electronics, propelling the rise of smartphones, laptops, and other gadgets we rely on daily. They delivered a decent balance of energy density, cost, and reliability at a consumer scale. For a while, laptops running for hours and phones lasting nearly a day felt like magic. However, when automakers attempted to scale up lithium-ion packs for full-sized electric vehicles, several limitations became hard to ignore. First, there's the issue of safety. Video filmed by Jacob Arm shows smoke pouring from a building before a large explosion, followed by a smaller one. The fire was sparked at a lithium-ion battery processing plant owned by Critical Mineral Recovery. Lithium-ion batteries typically use a liquid or gel electrolyte that moves ions from one electrode to another. That mild-sounding liquid is actually flammable, which creates a potential risk of overheating and, in the worst cases, fires or explosions. Though battery fires are rare, they grab headlines when they happen, and the mere possibility of a thermal runaway event made engineers cautious about how fast or how often these batteries could be charged. Beyond safety, lithium-ion batteries also hit a ceiling in terms of how quickly they can be refilled with energy. Charging too quickly forces ions through the cell at a pace that can degrade the battery or create localized heating hotspots. That's why typical electric vehicle owners factor in the possibility of waiting anywhere from a half hour to a few hours to top off their battery, especially under less than ideal conditions. For someone accustomed to a 5-minute gas station stop, this slower charging speed still feels like a step backward. There's also the matter of energy density, how much juice you can fit in a given volume or weight. Lithium-ion packs are relatively heavy, and while they perform decently, they can't match the energy density of advanced solid-state cells that exist in research labs. A heavier battery reduces an EV's range and affects driving dynamics, sometimes forcing automakers to compromise on design. Plus, these batteries degrade over time, meaning EV owners may experience diminishing driving range as the vehicle ages. Honda's bold step toward the future. Honda, with its background in methodical innovation, had been quietly assessing these next-generation battery technologies for years. Since Honda founded its Marysville plant more than 40 years ago, they've witnessed a massive evolution in technology, and now, it will become the first Honda plant globally to assemble battery packs for their new fleet of electric vehicles. Once it became evident that lithium-ion cells couldn't keep up with the growing demands for quicker and safer charging, Honda saw an opening for something radically different. In adopting solid-state cells, the brand aimed not just to fix small irritations but to elevate electric mobility to a level that could surpass traditional vehicles in nearly every category. The first glimpses of Honda's new battery concept, charging in just about 10 minutes, were enough to capture the attention of the entire auto industry. A legacy built on innovation. While many storied companies have introduced iconic models, Honda's identity revolves around the act of engineering itself. The brand might be best known for the Civic, Accord, or CR-V, but behind those roads is a culture that prioritizes thoughtful problem-solving. From the early days, Soichiro Honda's philosophy was that a mechanic's intuition should guide development as much as marketing analyses or boardroom decisions. This down-to-earth approach shaped the entire company, leading to real-world solutions rather than half-baked gimmicks. In the 1970s, while other companies were dabbling with ideas to meet stricter emissions regulations, Honda introduced the CVCC engine, which was so clean it met the standards without needing a catalytic converter. Engineering feats like that helped cement its reputation as a forward-thinking brand willing to question traditional methods. Jump ahead a few decades, and Honda was one of the first to seriously invest in hybrid systems, releasing models like the Insight, which challenged the notion that hybrids had to be impractical or clunky. This thread of sustainability and innovation carried forward into the 21st century, culminating in experiments with hydrogen fuel cell vehicles like the Honda Clarity. A future-forward approach. The 2017 Honda Clarity fuel cell vehicle runs exclusively on hydrogen, meaning its only emission is water. Yes, the infrastructure for hydrogen still lags behind, but the important thing was that Honda kept broadening its horizons. Whether it was building robots like Asimo or developing almost silent leaf blowers, the company's R&D portfolio stretched far beyond just making engines. But a crucial difference in Honda's approach is its refusal to hype a technology until it's confident in the data. That caution can sometimes come across as conservatism, especially in an industry that thrives on bold claims and ambitious promises. However, Honda's steady, innovation-driven approach has allowed it to develop real-world solutions that stand the test of time. With the introduction of its groundbreaking solid-state battery, Honda is once again proving that the future of transportation is closer than we ever imagined. This could very well be the breakthrough that reshapes the EV industry, making electric cars more efficient, safer, and more accessible than ever before. Underscore 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 underscore. The auto market loves bold promises, yet for Honda enthusiasts, it's validating to see that when the company commits to something, it's rarely a hollow PR stunt. This faith in engineering thoroughness is crucial as the conversation shifts entirely to electric vehicles. Drivers who rely on Honda products for daily commuting or family road trips expect more than flashy announcements, they want reliability that endures for years. When Honda first hinted that it was diving into all-solid-state battery technology, many industry watchers took notice. Some were excited, others skeptical. Could the brand that's famous for dependable gasoline engines and reliable hybrids truly master the complexities of a next-generation battery cell? As more details trickled out, including the possibility of a 10-minute full recharge, it became clear that this was no fleeting experiment. It was a natural progression of Honda's obsession with tackling engineering problems head-on, and it promised to reshape not just the Honda lineup but the landscape of electric mobility itself. The all-solid-state breakthrough unveiled. The spotlight turned to Honda when it announced its all-solid-state batteries capable of charging in around 10 minutes. That time frame was faster than almost anyone could have imagined for an EV. Instead of focusing on a marginal improvement, Honda's approach felt like a quantum leap, addressing every key point that typically deters would-be EV buyers: sluggish charging, nagging safety worries, and concerns about longevity. In traditional lithium-ion cells, ions move through a liquid or gel electrolyte, which can be prone to overheating or leaking if something goes wrong. By contrast, in Honda's new setup, the electrolyte is entirely solid. While the details of the composition remain guarded like any cutting-edge technology, we know that its stable structure significantly lowers the risk of fire and allows for faster ion flow under certain conditions. That's the foundation for why these batteries can recharge so quickly without incurring damage. Behind this release, Honda poured resources into perfecting the manufacturing steps necessary to produce these solid-state cells at scale. Making one or two batteries in a lab under pristine conditions is one thing, churning out thousands or millions with consistent quality is far more daunting. Each cell must be pressed or layered in a manner that leaves no room for impurities or microscopic gaps. Honda's background in highly automated manufacturing lines and quality control gave it an advantage here. Although some details remain under wraps, the company's official statements emphasize how these batteries pack more power into a smaller form factor than the lithium-ion packs used in most existing electric cars. That means a future Honda EV could potentially weigh less while driving farther, or keep the same weight and size but boost range significantly. Either outcome helps address what many see as the Achilles heel of EVs, range anxiety. This tech isn't just about speed or range. By removing the flammable element of a liquid electrolyte, the battery can handle more stress without risking a meltdown. It's a major selling point for concerned consumers who might have hesitated to buy an electric car, and it might even help automakers cut back on the elaborate cooling systems typical of today's EVs, thus saving costs and weight in future models. With that, Honda's triple punch of speed, safety, and energy density was finally on full display. The Clarity Electric is also equipped with DC fast charging capability that will provide an 80% charge in under 30 minutes, making it desirable for those times when you may want a fast on-the-go charge. At the heart of this shift away from lithium-ion technology is a higher energy density that opens up huge possibilities for electric mobility. Simply put, packing greater energy into each cell translates to more miles on a single charge. That alone can be a game-changer for electric vehicles. Range tends to be the first statistic prospective buyers check before considering anything else. People want to ensure they can drive to work, run errands, and do weekend road trips without feeling like they're constantly hunting for charging stations. But the real showstopper here is the potential for a full recharge in about 10 minutes. That timescale isn't just an incremental improvement, it's the difference between planning an entire day around a charging schedule and having a pit stop about as long as filling a car with gas or even grabbing coffee. Some advanced lithium-ion systems claim partial recharge times of about 15 or 20 minutes, but an all-solid-state design could dramatically reduce those intervals because it can handle higher charging currents without risking the battery's longevity. Though we often focus on how this faster charging benefits personal cars, it can also re-envision public infrastructure. Reimagining EV charging stations and beyond. Think about how typical EV charging stations can either be slow level 2 units in parking lots or more robust level 3 DC fast chargers, where you still wait half an hour or more. If an all-solid-state battery truly charges in 10 minutes, it might allow charging stations to operate at a higher turnover, meaning more vehicles served in the same time frame. That effectively deals with the queue problem many EV owners dread, waiting in line behind a half-dozen cars just to plug in. Higher energy density also offers opportunities for non-automotive markets. Imagine a drone that can stay in the air significantly longer, or a smartphone that could last several days on a single charge. Honda's publicly stated focus is still on automotive applications, but these batteries could filter into consumer electronics, power tools, and even the renewable energy sector. For wind and solar farms, being able to store more electricity in a given volume could address the intermittent nature of these energy sources. Balancing ultra-fast charging with battery lifespan. Of course, the big question is how to balance ultra-fast charging with battery lifespan. Engineering has trade-offs, and pushing a cell to accept energy too quickly can cause wear and tear. Yet Honda's stance is that the inherent stability of a solid-state battery allows it to handle rapid charging without degrading as quickly as traditional lithium-ion cells. This technological breakthrough has the potential to reshape not just Honda's future, but the entire electric vehicle industry. A solid electrolyte helps mitigate these issues. If it can hold steady after thousands of charge cycles, then owners won't face the dreaded battery replacement bill, something that eats into the cost advantage of electric vehicles. In short, the promise goes beyond just speed. It might also make the nuts and bolts economics of EV ownership more palatable in the long run. Safety in a solid package. Even the short list of potential benefits with Honda's new design would be incomplete without highlighting safety. While it's easy to get carried away with talk of record-setting charge times or extended range, many people, especially families, care first and foremost about whether a new technology is stable and secure to use. Traditional lithium-ion cells aren't exactly ticking time bombs, but the presence of flammable liquid electrolytes poses a hazard. Puncturing or overcharging them can lead to leaks, fires, or even explosions in extreme cases. All solid-state batteries reduce that risk substantially because, as the name implies, the electrolyte is a solid material with no liquid content to leak or catch fire. The chance of thermal runaway is drastically lower. Honda has put added emphasis on this, signaling that it wants to remove any lingering worries about mechanical or electrical failures. It's not just about sparing the company from recalls and the negative publicity that comes with them, it's about giving drivers peace of mind. Durability goes hand in hand with safety. A poorly made battery that degrades quickly can also become a hazard. But if the chemistry is more stable and can withstand different temperature ranges, vibrations, and repeated charging cycles, you're looking at a design that's inherently more robust. Honda's vehicles have always found success partly because they hold up under day-to-day abuse, taking on potholes, harsh weather, and extended stops and starts. The all-solid-state battery could follow this same pattern, ensuring robust performance on highways and within crowded city streets. Another hidden advantage is the potential reduction of complex cooling systems. Currently, EVs rely on sophisticated thermal management solutions to keep lithium-ion batteries at safe operating temperatures. By removing or simplifying these systems, automakers can reduce manufacturing complexity, possibly cut production costs, and even free up space for other features. It's one more step toward making EVs simpler and more attractive to the average driver who might not want to worry about battery temperature readouts. Environmental and economic impacts. All of these factors, faster charging, greater range, and more robust safety, tie into the ecological aspect too. A battery that's less prone to accidents and that lasts longer needs fewer replacements over the vehicle's lifespan, which means less waste. And while EVs are already cleaner than their fossil fuel counterparts, better battery longevity will strengthen their environmental advantages, helping reduce resource consumption tied to manufacturing and recycling. For Honda, this supports its image of a greener, more sustainable automotive future. Competing on a new battlefield. In typical Honda fashion, the company's announcements about 10-minute charging times and all-solid-state breakthroughs were carefully measured. But the rest of the automotive world and the broader tech industry heard the news loud and clear. Giants like Tesla have historically pushed the envelope with lithium-ion solutions, achieving higher energy densities and lower production costs than many thought possible. Toyota, another Japanese powerhouse, has also spoken publicly of its own solid-state battery plans, aiming for a major leap in performance. Meanwhile, corporations like Samsung dabble in everything from consumer electronics to EV battery research, making them potential heavy hitters in this space. Startups like QuantumScape are exclusively focused on next-generation battery designs, claiming lab results showing dramatic improvements in charge time and capacity. These younger players benefit from nimble teams and a singular mission. However, they usually lack the massive manufacturing infrastructure that legacy automakers like Honda possess. Scaling up from prototypes to a million-vehicle production run is a different beast entirely, and that's where major automakers have a definite edge. Honda's approach could set it apart from high-profile but risk-taking contenders. Instead of making grandiose statements right off the bat, Honda tests, refines, and tests again. This method extends the timeline for product launches but often pays off in the form of vehicles that rarely see major recalls or catastrophic failures. In the battery game, such caution might be an advantage, since any major production flaw in a new battery design could be financially devastating. Of course, there's no guarantee that Honda's lead in this area will remain permanent. The pace of battery innovation is notoriously fast, and new breakthroughs can come from anywhere: a small lab in Silicon Valley, a tech giant in South Korea, or a well-funded automotive research center in Germany. The challenge for Honda is to stay consistent with its strategy, balancing innovation with practicality while forging partnerships or alliances if necessary. With so much at stake, no major player wants to be left behind in what could be the most significant shift in automotive engineering in a century. Pope Francis's alarming message. The Pope is one of the most revered people on earth, so it is not surprising that the whole world came to a halt after His Holiness suddenly released an alarming message. Many believe this message is timely and a divine revelation from God Himself. While there are skeptics about the source, the message itself cannot be denied. What shocking message did Pope Francis have for the world this time? Join us as we reveal the alarming message Pope Francis shared that has caught the attention of the whole world. Recently, a message people claim was from Pope Francis has been quickly spreading around WhatsApp and other social media sites. With its urgent tone and clear call to action, it has caused a lot of trouble among Catholics and other people around the world. The message talks about how worried the Pope is about battles getting worse in different parts of the world and stresses the need for everyone to pray together to stop more bad things from happening. While the WhatsApp message has caused a lot of debate, The Pope's plea can also be found on the Vatican's website. This makes it clear that the Pope wants to bring people together spiritually for peace. The word being passed around starts with inviting priests and believers alike to pray together. There's more. God has moved Pope Francis to encourage more people to pray, especially the Holy Rosary. The message says the Pope has asked church doors to stay open and for people to pray together before the chapel. This call stresses the importance of praying for peace in places where wars are still ongoing, naming the Middle East, Ukraine, and Crimea as areas of concern. The main objective is to ask God for forgiveness, give world leaders the Holy Spirit, and show them how to choose peace over war. This message is very powerful because it is clear and simple. It gives clear directions for everyone to take some time daily and pray the Our Father and Hail Mary 3 times, no matter where they are. There is even a prayer for the Holy Trinity to break up and stop the bad forces that control and trap the world. Many people like this organized approach to collective prayer, seeing it as a way to unite people in a time of crisis. The method makes the call to prayer easy for everyone, no matter where they are or what time it is. The Pope's call is not just for religious leaders or devoted followers, but for everyone on the planet. People have different thoughts about the WhatsApp message. Some have fully embraced it, spreading it widely and committing to the prayer practice, while others have questioned its authenticity, wondering if it truly reflects what the Pope said or if it was exaggerated as it went viral online. However, a similar message sent through the official Vatican website has given the post more credibility. Pope Francis discusses the dangers the world faces today on the Vatican website, focusing on how peace, unity, and kindness are being lost. He not only urges people to pray for peace but also calls on them to care for the poor, sick, and injured, emphasizing the importance of service and empathy. The Pope's message on the Vatican website is very serious, reflecting the gravity of the situation. He highlights how people are becoming more divided and how greed and evil cast a dark shadow over the world. He stresses the need for spiritual help to eliminate this darkness and presents Mary, Queen of the Rosary, as a symbol of hope and direction. The Pope believes that people can strengthen their faith and combat the forces that spread violence and hatred through prayer. He wants people to be united in their faith and actions. As the message spreads, he hopes to unite people spiritually against the chaos in the world. By asking priests to open churches and lead prayers, he encourages people to take responsibility for promoting peace. Taking time out of one's daily life to pray not only strengthens individual faith but also gives other believers a sense that they are working toward a common goal. It is significant that the Pope is emphasizing the Holy Rosary in particular. This prayer has deep roots in Catholicism and is known for its calming and unifying power. It can bring healing and peace, which is why Pope Francis wants everyone to say it. Historically, the Rosary has been linked to moments when God helped people through difficult times, and this appeal is rooted in those traditions of hope and strength. The timing of the Pope's speech and its connection to important events in the Church's calendar make it even more relevant. He chose this moment to highlight the Jubilee year of prayer and repentance, a time dedicated to healing and spiritual growth. The Pope has called for a global prayer at 7 p.m. local time, asking Christians worldwide to pray together, creating a spiritual chain of hope and faith. Escalating wars in the world and their consequences. The world is currently experiencing multiple conflicts, each with severe consequences. The escalating wars in the Middle East and Eastern Europe are not isolated tragedies, they are deeply interconnected crises affecting people worldwide. In the Middle East, tensions have escalated into widespread bloodshed, leading to countless deaths and further destabilizing nations. Meanwhile, the war in Ukraine continues to rage on, impacting millions and drawing in countries from across the globe. Both regions have long histories of conflict and have now become flashpoints that threaten global stability. The most direct and devastating impact of these wars is the human cost. Homes are destroyed, families are torn apart, and countless lives are lost. As more people flee their homes in search of safety, the refugee crisis worsens. Many of these refugees do not find welcoming environments and often become trapped in political disputes. Neighboring countries, already struggling with economic challenges, face additional burdens due to the influx of displaced individuals. The fragmented and slow global response further highlights how current systems are ill-equipped to handle such widespread suffering. Beyond the loss of life, these wars have major economic consequences that extend far beyond the regions directly affected. Energy markets, already unstable, are now in further turmoil. The Middle East plays a crucial role in global oil and gas production, yet supply lines are threatened, and prices are skyrocketing. In Europe, the war in Ukraine has exacerbated energy shortages, forcing countries to seek alternative sources. Rising energy costs contribute to inflation, making the cost of living crisis even worse worldwide. Global trade, which is vital for modern economies, is also under threat. Shipping routes in the Middle East are becoming increasingly unsafe, slowing down deliveries and driving up costs. Ukraine, a key agricultural exporter, has suffered massive destruction, causing food shortages and price increases. The country's farming industry has already suffered an estimated $4.3 billion in losses due to war damage. These economic shocks do not just impact warring nations, they ripple across the globe, disproportionately affecting vulnerable populations. Countries that rely on food and energy imports are on the verge of crisis, struggling to meet their people's basic needs. Geopolitical tensions are also intensifying as powerful nations take sides, fueling the conflicts further. Countries that once sought diplomatic solutions are now caught in cycles of rising hostility and mutual distrust. There is a significant risk of escalation, potentially drawing in more global powers. The stakes are higher than they have been in decades, with advanced weaponry, increasing casualties, and the potential for unforeseen alliances further complicating the situation. Pope Francis' urgent message. Against this backdrop, Pope Francis' message is deeply alarming. His urgent call to action highlights not only the need to end violence but also the necessity for immediate global cooperation. According to the Pope, all nations have a responsibility to work toward peace. He warns that if no action is taken, the world will face even greater destruction. His plea comes at a time when the world appears to be unraveling, emphasizing that these crises are interconnected and require collective efforts to resolve. These wars are not just tragic events, they are actively reshaping our world, affecting economies, societies, and governments. The spread of apathy and indifference in the face of immense suffering challenges human morality. Pope Francis reminds us that this is not merely a political issue but a deeply human one. Ignoring the call for kindness, peace, and coordinated action will only worsen the situation. If the world remains passive, the consequences will be dire. The conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East serve as stark reminders of how fragile peace is and how devastating its absence can be. Pope Francis' message makes it clear that time is running out and that inaction will have consequences for everyone. A future of hope. However, the Pope's message is not solely one of despair, he also offers hope. His call for prayer and collective action is a reminder that positive change is possible, even in the darkest times. His words highlight that small acts of kindness and compassion, when multiplied across communities, can have a profound impact. Everyone, regardless of their background or beliefs, can contribute to the effort for peace and healing. Even though the world may seem divided, there is still hope when people unite to support those in need and strengthen their communities. Grassroots efforts such as organizing food drives, donating to shelters, and engaging in community service can make a tangible difference. Pope Francis' message is a call to action, reminding people that peace is not an abstract concept, it is something that must be actively pursued and nurtured through faith, unity, and good works. Praying for peace together shows that real change happens at the community level. Helping people who have been forced to leave their homes and are helpless, like refugees from war zones, is very important in today's world. This work not only provides material assistance to those uprooted by war but also offers them comfort. Volunteering at a local charity or donating to foreign aid groups are small actions that can make a big difference in the lives of those in need. Charitable work plays a crucial role in extending help beyond individual communities. Social aid groups often serve as a bridge between those with resources and those in desperate need of assistance. People can support these groups by donating money, offering their time, or raising awareness about ongoing crises. Kindly share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Also, click on the next video shown on your screen, you will enjoy it.